clipping?
Yes, I'm trying to avoid any
Guess
goddamn
what
loud
my
noises.
job is?
Ah, you son of a bitch.
Eat it.
Eat a dick.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, welcome to another week of Utterly Geek.
Hello!
I'm Daron Bell. We've got a Stephen Petrella,
Yay.
and we've got a Chris Walczyk.
Hooray! I have a whole nerdy.
He's back.
I'm glad.
Oh, nice.
I'm glad that you feel like you have to highlight it.
On video,
You
at
do.
least. On video.
Yeah.
So those of you
Sure.
who are listening through
Well,
audio...
it does look like a nice office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wanted to have all my nerdy shit like in the background, so that way it was very well established.
You know,
Mhm.
it's in poor taste to point it out.
You're
Nuts.
in poor taste.
Maybe, but I think it's in poor taste to point it out. But that's just me.
All right.
I've always known that you're in poor taste.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Dare you?
Shame.
You know what else? You know what else is in poor taste?
What?
Fucking Dark Souls.
I guess? Is that
I-
what you've been doing?
I had to start a new character
Okay.
because my first character, I lost so much humanity and so much XP by overextending and then finding one of the Black Knights
Yeah.
up at the top of a giant tower that just kind of turned around and one-shotted me. And I did not make it back to retrieve anything, so I lost like 5 humanity and a whole bunch of souls and shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck this. I'm not really that far in the game. I'm just going to restart. So I restarted this morning, and I already have found so much more equipment. I found a shop,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
I never found in my other 4 hours in the other game.
Nice.
It's like, oh man, this other character is like only 4 levels below my other character. It makes me wonder what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Mhm.
gosh.
That's pretty much, it's one of those things with like RPG games where it's like your first playthrough is just trying to get used to how the game works and everything, and then you just eventually go, all right, fuck it, let me just restart and try all over again. And then once you get the hang of it, and you're like, okay, I can move on with this.
So let me get this straight. If I kindle a bonfire, that makes it bigger, and that lets me take 10 Estus, right?
Yes, correct.
But I can only kindle when I am unhallowed, which means I need to spend 2 humanity
Yes.
in order to do that.
Correct.
Okay, so I looted a corpse that had 3 of the little humanity orb things.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, if I pop those are now in the upper right-hand corner. But if I die with the item unconsumed, I still have the item, right?
Correct.
Okay. Why the fuck did I pop all of those on my other account and then proceed to lose all of them?
Yeah. I mean, that's little things like that with Dark Souls. That's kind of like, you just have to learn.
You learn. Yeah. So it takes me back, actually. This is going to sound really weird, but it takes me back to, like, Morrowind. The first time you make a character in Morrowind, you'll play them for 5 or 6 hours before you realize nothing fucking works.
Yeah.
Now I understand how these systems work. I'm going to go back there and make another character. So on my second character, I made another warrior, but I dumped that ring that said that I recover health when it clearly doesn't,
Yeah.
and picked up the lockpick, like the master key. I'm like, I will use this. This seems a lot more useful than a slight health bump.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm enjoying it a lot more.
Nice.
But, okay, so when I'm at the seller, can I sell excess items to them? I don't see a sell button.
I believe so. I can't remember whether if it's like you just have to tab over or something, and then it'll do it.
pop up?
And yeah, something will pop up. I can't remember how it works or how the system is in that, because I know that one, I haven't played Dark Souls in so goddamn long, but I know that in Bloodborne you can go up to like this well in the hunter's dream, and basically it'll give you a pop-up like buy, sell, or leave, and then you could just go in there and do whatever you need to do.
Right, and that's what I assumed would be on here, but it just says buy.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't look at it close enough.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a menu or something. There's got to be.
Yeah, I think if I recall, I think it is like a tab that's on the very top that has something that's like you just switch over to sell or whatever.
You have to be able to. What I really like about this game in particular is the one currency. It's all souls.
Yep.
So yeah, either level up and be badass, or buy some more equipment and be more badass. It's an interesting trade off. The only other game that I think has come close to that, to a legitimate, interesting currency system, is Odin Sphere.
Mm.
Did either of you ever play Odin Sphere?
I think I watched you play it for a while.
Oh, it's so good. It's a good 2D brawler, but there's a lot of strategy to it. Harder than balls. It's an Atlas game,
Yeah.
which means no human being has ever actually finished it.
Of course.
But it's a fantasy setting, side-scrolling brawler, and the combat is just so fucking good. At times it feels like a bullet hell, but it isn't. You get different currencies because there's multiple kingdoms in this world, but certain shopkeepers, like there's a restaurant, and when you buy food from the restaurant and eat it, it increases your overall health. But they only accept a certain type of coin.
Okay.
There's only one coin that they will accept, and you get a dish for like one coin. But that coin is also worth like 10 to any other vendor. And when you go to pay for things, you have to pick which particular coins you're using.
Okay.
So if you don't know that, you could be spending all these coins willy-nilly because I really want this bangle that gives me bonus to evade. But you're spending all of this money that could be used at a different vendor. And I think that holds true for another currency. I could be wrong on that. But there's 5 different types of coins that each have different values depending on which vendor you're going to. Not enough games approach currency systems interestingly enough like that.
Yeah.
I would love if like Elder Scrolls Online had a different currency for each region of Cyrodiil, rather than just, hey, it's all septums.
Right.
Yeah, man, currency systems. So good. Also, beyond that, I've basically just been listening to Radiohead's new album. A Moon-Shaped Pool. It's Steve, have you listened to it yet?
Yeah, I just listened to it today.
It is so melancholy.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, you could take nearly any other Radiohead album and put it on at a party. This one, it doesn't feel like you should ever do that.
Okay.
It's very reserved. It's very quiet, and True Love Waits is one of the best album closers ever written.
Yeah.
It's oh man, it might be my favorite Radiohead album now.
Interesting.
Well, Steve, as
I have to listen to it a little bit more. I really like it. I mean, I've only listened to it once. I really liked my one listen, but I will reserve 100% judgment on it until because I have to really know if I love an album. I have to listen to it like 5 times to be dead sure that I really love it. Or sometimes you listen to it 5 times and you like it the first time, and then the 5th time you're like, fuck this shit. I'm done with it. But I don't feel that will happen with this, but I do really like it. It's kind of sounds like In Rainbows mixed with like OK Computer a little bit. I mean, they're doing some stuff that's
they're
a lot
pulling
different from.
It feels like they're pulling from everything.
Yeah, it kind of does. I really like that they're doing that, and it is really really melancholy. I mean, Radiohead's pretty fucking melancholy to begin with. Like they're pretty. I mean, they have some upbeat stuff, but mostly melancholy. But this is definitely more so.
Like Burn the Witch is the most upbeat song on the album, and that's track 1. Really it's all downhill from there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like it takes an emotional, like, hey, this is kind of bubbly, kind of happy, but then it just continually drops you down further and further. further.
That's interesting because I did listen to Burn the Witch like when you were fucking going ape shit over it there when they
Yeah.
released it on
Song's so
YouTube.
good.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it just turns down and down and down.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know. I know you want to listen to it more. I've been listening to it on endless repeat.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance.
Yeah.
But I will listen to it again tomorrow.
I'm curious
So-
to hear your thoughts on that.
Hmm.
I did start playing Grow Home for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
That game's real weird.
Mhm.
Real weird. You just start off on a spaceship and they're like, oh look, this planet can sustain life. Oh look, there's a giant star tree. Grow the tree 2,000 meters. Go, little weird ass robot, go. And you start off with controls to just grab with your left and right hand and then wobble around. That game didn't have any pre-rendered animations. It's all kind of at the mercy of its own physics system.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the robot, whose name is Bud, he gets momentum going, and it leads to really, really horrible situations where all of a sudden you're like up 500 meters and suddenly you're like, oh, I want to jump over there, but then his momentum carries him and trips him up and he falls off the damn thing. Well, there's teleporters, so you're never really that far behind where you were, but
Oh, okay.
game's goofy and weird. I love it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and then one more game. Stanley Parable. I put about 45 minutes into that game.
Nice. Yeah.
So have either of you found the confusion ending?
No. Maybe? I don't know.
I feel like that's a harder one to find, and I found it
Yeah.
on my first time.
Okay.
So the narrator keeps getting upset, and you keep getting in corners, and he keeps saying, okay, we need to restart, so he keeps restarting on you.
Mhm.
And like the fifth time, you end up finding this giant billboard that just is a giant flowchart of the confusion ending and
Yeah.
what needs to happen.
Yeah, I did get that ending.
It's so fucking weird. And then I figured, fuck it, I'm just gonna follow what he says just to get that ending and beat the game.
Yeah,
It's an interesting commentary,
yeah.
and I want to spend more time in that weird little experiment of a story game experience.
Yeah, when I played it, it was kind of like I just wanted to. It was kind of like, hey, I've got like 20 minutes or whatever to just kind of dick around in some kind of game, like without anything that's kind of relaxing and just enjoy the ride. And that's basically what Stanley Parable is. And it's just like, I just like kept playing it and kept going and getting all the different endings. And no matter how many times you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's like a little bit different every time. And it's kind of really interesting how it works like that.
Yeah.
Did you ever get the red door, blue door choice?
No. I don't think I did.
There's one point where eventually he's like, there's a red door and a blue door, and he's like, and then Stanley walk through the red door. So you walk through the blue door, and then he resets you. He's like, no, you didn't hear me. Stanley walked through the red door, and then you walk through the blue door. He's like, what the hell? And he pulls you back again. He's like, Stanley walked through the red door, and the blue door is not there anymore, and there's all these flashing arrows pointing to the red door. If you turn around, the blue door is behind you. So I walk through the blue door. He's like, fine, screw you. If you want your own game, if you think you're so good, here, I've been working on games. And you end up playtesting a bunch of horrible games for him.
Yeah.
And you end up playing Minecraft and Portal.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's great. That game is so weird. It makes me really want to pick up the beginner's guide. His follow-up game.
Ah, yes.
It was a commentary more on the creative process than it is on the final product, like Stanley Parable is. But
Yeah.
man, yeah, I actually played quite a bit.
Nice.
That's it for me. What about you guys?
Well, I've been replaying actually, Dead Space 2 because I see it pop
Nice.
up on game subreddit
Oh my
so
god.
goddamn much, like so
They're
fucking
all
much.
the fucking time.
Yeah, like they keep bringing it up and they're always like, "Oh, this game is like the fucking
so
best
scary."
ever." Well, it does have its moments where it's made me jump or whatever, but like
It's definitely not as scary as the first one.
no. But I would say between the two, like I would say that like Dead Space 2 is way more fleshed out as far as like with like the mechanics and the action and the combat
Oh
and
yeah.
everything, like
Oh
much
yeah.
more fleshed out. And it came out in such a weird time in 2011 where it was like microtransactions started being a thing and like
No, yeah.
DLC started coming out where it was just like extra cut content that just like had a little bit of different stats into each weapon. And it was like, and all the if you bought the DLC, like all the weapons were available, like right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And I forgot that I got like the Dead Space 2 that included all of it because it was just like cheap, and I was like, well, whatever this whole package includes, I'll just buy it because it's fucking everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because I played and replayed Dead Space 1 so many fucking times. Like I think I went through like 2 new game plus modes through it, and then I got sick of it. And Dead Space 2 I only played once, and I was like, I feel like I should just give this game like more attention than just one playthrough. And there was like, I thought there was a lot that I didn't remember, but playing it through again, I was like, holy shit, okay, I remember this part, and I remember this part, but I just forgot that it was in Dead Space 2 because I kept confusing like what happens in Dead Space 1 with Dead Space 2 and vice versa.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, like the story and action and combat in 2 is like a lot better than it was in 1.
Yeah.
And like it was kind of like one of those things where it was like Dead Space 1 was like great sound concept, very solid game, little lacking in certain things, but like overall pretty solid game. And then like Dead Space 2 is like great combination of everything, like it, and really solid game. And but it's still, even playing through Dead Space 2, it's not enough for me to be like, yeah, I want to go get Dead Space 3 to find out what happens.
Right.
And I wonder if that's just because of the whole co-op thing, or if it's just because like it was such a not well received game as far as like with the story and the combat and everything. So, like I don't know. And I think that's mostly just, and it makes me so sad because it's like Visceral Games like had such a good thing going with playing through Dead Space 2. I'm like wow, this game like still is really good to this day. Like some of the models are a little janky, but like the textures are really great, like the effects are still really great, like even to this day. But like the only thing that's not great is the model shapes, but other than that, like it's a pretty fucking great looking game. And
that's just a series I've never played through. I keep trying to play the first, but I just kind of fall off of it. I bounce off of it pretty hard, and I can't explain why. I think it's the fact that it's like going into it, I know shoot the limbs, and it's not really scary.
I mean, it has, I would say there are more scary parts in 1 than 2, but like 2...
Oh, that doesn't bode well for 2.
Well, I mean, like, but 2 has better mindfuckery.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
well, then
2
then I will enjoy that more.
Yeah, 2 like, because 1 is like purely like, it's kind of like, 1 was kind of more like, let's be like Alien or Aliens, like it's
build
like that.
The tension.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like 2 is like, let's fuck with your brain, kind of shit that goes on with the alien thing going on. So like, so with those two kind of going at the same time, that's why I'm saying like 2 was like way more fleshed out, because it was like, okay, remember all the shit that happened in 1? Well, that fucked up Isaac's mind pretty badly. So here you go. Here's Dead Space 2.
And most people I know that have played that have heralded 2 as the best in the series.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with that. Playing it through, like I've been enjoying my time with it way more, and there's still moments that, with especially like the zero gravity sections that are in that game, because it happens pretty frequently. There's a lot of moments where, with that zero gravity moments, I'm just like, man, this is fucking cool. Like this is a really cool moment right here, and because there's one point you're just like outside in the space station, and you're floating around in space, like in space entirely, and you can fucking see Saturn in the background, and you're trying to repair shit, like totally out in the open. And I was just like, man, this is fucking cool, because it's like totally open, like, and I don't know, it just seems so neat. And but yeah, no, it's so good. I'm actually almost done. I think I'm like probably I'm probably like an hour and a half away from finishing it. Hour and a half away from finishing it again.
Nice.
And I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, I got it now. I don't think I'll do a new game plus because it's kind of like, okay, I understand and I can appreciate it much more now for what it is and all that. But yeah, like I said, like just I can't bring myself to just want Dead Space 3 because of it just was, I don't know.
Yeah.
All the stigma around that game.
I played it. It's crap. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Thank you, Steve.
It's not like it's not a truly bad game. It's just when you played Dead Space 2, and Dead Space 2 is is a really good game.
Yeah.
And then that comes out, and it's just like, it's playable, but it's just like, meh. You know, you go through, and it's like they were trying to be. I don't know why they wanted to be Resident Evil 5, but it seemed like they kind of wanted to, and it's just like, why?
That's right.
Why do that to yourself?
Because
like
the co-op horror games were coming out, and then EA was like, hey, make Dead Space 3 a co-op horror game, and Visceral was like, okay,
we'll do it, I guess. And it's way more actiony and like less of the cool mindfuckery of the story of Dead Space 2, and it's just like, story kind of, man. I didn't end up beating it, but I didn't care. Like, it was just like I got through like probably half the game, and I was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you just bounced.
It's not worth my time anymore. But I liked Dead Space 2 so much that I played it on, I think it was the hardest difficulty, where you can only do 4 saves.
Oh wow!
And I played it in one day.
Holy
I was like,
shit.
I'm gonna fucking do this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long day. I mean, I knew how to beat it, so I was just like, I'm gonna fucking do it. It took me like 14 hours.
Jesus.
Damn, dude. Well, yeah. Plus, you're like searching every crevice and everything for fucking supplies.
The tension. Yeah, the tension, because they lower the amount of supplies that you get, and the tension that causes is like, you have to play a perfect game. You know, you have to like go in there and conserve every bit of ammo that you have. And it makes it scarier, or it just adds, like, it makes your heart beat a little bit more, because you're like, fuck, I have like a couple rounds. How am I going to beat these guys? How am I going to get more rounds? Like, what the fuck am I going to do here? So,
yeah.
Like, it was interesting. Then when I beat it, I was like, why did I do this?
So
I could have played another game. Why did I do this to myself?
So few horror games do that right. They do the inventory management right.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 2 did it phenomenally.
Yeah.
Zombie U does it really well, too.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what fucked me so hard that I had to restart that whole game. I didn't want to use my gun.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough ammo. And I didn't realize that shit had gone super bad until way too late. Trying to cricket bat everything.
Yeah. I would say the same thing for Resident Evil 4. Like, because at the start of that game, I remember just rationing ammo so fucking hard. And I was doing so many goddamn flip kicks and fucking suplexes and, like, doing all that shit just to conserve ammo. Because I don't know what the hell was coming up next.
Mm-hmm. And then Chainsaw Man shows up, and you're like, fuck that shit, where's my shotgun?
Yeah, fucking unload everything into him, Oh my god, yeah. So I've been playing Dead Space 2, and seeing as how I missed last week's episode, being a part of it, I finished, this was 2 weeks ago, I finished Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition. I bought the $5 upgrade and replayed through the game. The whole section that they added, a whole storyline actually, for...
Oh, nice.
It was basically the story of oh crap, I can't remember the character's name. It's Ori's friend, basically, the one that's at the very beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
You basically find out the backstory of that character while you're going through, and it's a whole nother area that's like 3 new areas that they add, and it's fucking huge. Like, I did not expect that whole area to be as big as it was, and so it was a well worth the $5 upgrade. So I played it all the way through with getting everything, and made the mistake of one of those things being like, because it doesn't, I forgot that Ori doesn't do the thing where it's like, hey, you're about to beat the game if you go this far. Are you sure you want to, like, turn around and go get the rest of your collectibles and shit, because it really was like, I was like, oh, I'll just finish this temple and then come back for it, and then it was like, next thing you know, it's like you're fucking done with the game. And I was like, oh shit, I wanted everything else, god damn it. But yeah, no, just experiencing it all over again, and with the new music and the new areas and finding out more lore about that universe and the character and everything, I was just like, oh god, so fucking good. It brought me back again. And yeah, the game's so goddamn gorgeous still. But yeah, that's about it. The last
Nice.
3 weeks been 2 games I've been playing, besides Overwatch, of course.
Oh, yeah, we
But I know you guys covered Overwatch last week.
A little bit.
We've covered it multiple weeks.
We can cover it again this week.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. I haven't voiced my opinion. Well, I mean, I guess I have. I know I already have.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed, really. Like, as soon as that fucking open beta happens, it was just like, yep, on board.
Yep. Steve, what about you, besides Overwatch?
I'm this close to beating Grim Dawn, I think. I really think now, and because I've just been like streamlining, like fuck the side quests, I'm gonna beat this motherfucker, and then if I ever want to do the side quests, I'll come back.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, but yeah, it looks like I'm like a couple spots from the end of the map, which I mean, I might like. There might be another map underneath this map. I don't fucking know. You know, like it might be like, oh, you made it this far. Guess what? Now we're really gonna go Diablo on your ass, and you're in fucking hell. Yeah. And here's a whole new map. Like, so I don't know, but
probably.
Yeah, I'm guessing. But yeah, I played that, and that's pretty much about it. And I saw Captain America, and it was fucking great. And I don't want to say anything about it because it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I know I was telling you this, Steve, the other day, but like, you know, ever since it came out, I've just been like, I almost started going like how Daron has been feeling about superhero movies, where it's like, guys, I don't care anymore. Like, it's such a long ride, and it's gonna keep going on forever. But like, after hearing you say it and like hearing some of the reviews from other people, and everyone's being like, this is the best fucking Marvel movie since Avengers 1, I'm like, oh Christ, okay.
Yeah. I'll say this, I'm so burnt out on superhero movies.
Yeah.
But I liked the Captain America series. Well, I really liked Winter Soldier because I felt that Winter Soldier, as far as a movie goes, it was like you could take Captain America and the characters out, and it could be like just a cool action movie with an interesting like thriller story.
Okay.
And with this one, I think they're going more for. They're not going for that. Oh, here's the bad guy, and he's a real fucking asshole, and we need to beat him up, and we need to blow up a city. It's more like, hey, dude, there's some like underneath shit going on, and there's a war between us and how we feel about each other, and I think that's cool, and I like the way that they did it. I like the way that they kind of took themselves away from Avengers in this whole world of there's these really bad guys and we got to stop them, and in the process we blow up cities, and now I like that it's the consequence of blowing up cities. It's like, hey, you fucking blew up cities, you pieces of shit. Like, now you have to atone for that.
So all the movies leading up to this are basically, this movie's because of that.
Yeah, it's like them atoning for all the bad shit that happened because they tried to do good shit, and like how it weighs differently on each character.
Who directed this one?
I'm not 100. I don't know, but I can look it up, or Daron can look it up.
I'll look it up.
But like, because I thought it was going to be convoluted, just because there's so many characters. But
yeah,
I was surprised that they pulled it together, and they gave everyone their moment in the sun, and you know, they didn't overdo it. They didn't like go too far with certain characters. I mean, it's Captain America, but they still did a really good job of like introducing Spider-Man, giving Ant-Man his little thingy, you know, and Black Panther's pretty fucking badass.
And they didn't have anything where it was like a hero jumps in for like 5 minutes, throws a couple punches, like, all right, guys, I'll see you in the next movie, and then leaves or whatever.
Yeah, they kind of did it, but they did it in a good way. Like, it wasn't like, oh, they just had to throw him in there, for effect. It was more like
when they threw
they
in
needed
Hawk
to be
and
there,
Ant-Man.
Yeah, it was like they kind of needed them in a certain way. Like, the way that they explained it, why they were in there, they did need them.
Right.
So they did a really good job. It wasn't like, because if they were throwing superheroes in there, they could have easily threw every fucking guy in there. Like,
Right.
they could have thrown Thor and Hulk back in there, but they chose not to, which I think was a good decision. Like, don't throw everybody at you, but they kind of built on characters that you didn't know too much about, like Scarlet Witch and stuff like that. So now you know, and Vision and Black Panther and blah blah blah.
Paul Bettany's in it. Oh, Paul Bettany. So it's the same brother duo, Joe Russo, Anthony Russo, who directed The Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
Winter Soldier was so good.
Winter Soldier.
I still have not seen it. Like,
it's legitimately good.
It is. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. From what I heard, yes. I'm willing to skip the first Captain America just to go right into Winter Soldier.
You actually shouldn't. The Captain America movies are good.
Yeah, I like all the Captain America
All right,
movies.
well, maybe I'll do like
the
a
first
binge.
one is a little bit more cheesy.
Right.
Yeah, certainly.
But I still like it. I thought it's good, and I mean, I guess you don't really need it, but I guess you kind of do.
You know what you don't need at all? Any of the Thor movies. I haven't seen a single one, nor do I care to.
I actually heard the second one wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty decent.
Yeah,
I saw the first one, and it was okay. Like, it was kind of entertaining at certain moments.
Yeah.
But I heard that the second one was, like, better than the first one. And it was actually a pretty good Thor movie. But yeah, other than that, I was like, okay.
When you call your movie Thor: The Dark World, I'm going to draw immediate connections to The Legend of Zelda, and then just be mad that I'm not playing Link to the Past. So,
I liked both the Thor movies. I mean, I didn't think they were like anything great. They're entertaining. I mean, how I feel about most comic book movies is they're entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them aren't good movies, to me at least. Like, I just like them because they entertain me.
they're popcorn movies.
Yeah, they're popcorn movies. I don't have to think that hard, but that's why I liked Winter Soldier and Civil War, because they kind of turn that on their head and they do make you think a little bit more.
Yeah.
So they're not like just. I mean, Civil War is a little bit more because there's a ton of fucking action in it, but it's still makes you think, and it's very relevant to today and like what's going on today in the world, and like how people are at odds with each other who shouldn't be at odds with each other, But it was a good movie, and I definitely recommend it. But if you're burnt out on Marvel movies, well, I think most people are anyways. Because there's just so fucking many. I mean, now there's Doctor Strange is coming out, X-Men's coming out at the end of this month.
Yeah,
They just started shooting the third Wolverine movie.
Shooting another fucking Wolverine movie.
But this one's going to be R-rated and super gory, guys. Like, they're getting out and already saying that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Which is weird that it had to take Deadpool to do that when there was like Blade and like a number of other movies that are coming out.
Judge Dredd, The Punisher.
Dredd,
Yeah.
Watchmen.
Spawn. Not that a lot of people care about Spawn.
Yeah, no.
I care about Spawn, god damn it.
Okay.
Spawn's a very entertaining movie, although the CGI does not hold up.
No.
Any CG usually doesn't hold up. Go watch the second Matrix movie.
Oh god. Yeah.
Rubber Neo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Holy shit. That whole fight scene with the billion Agent Smiths, it's so bad.
Oh yeah. It's fucking awful.
Oh god. I feel like I need to tank those movies, just have a bad movie weekend.
Yeah.
Start off with a real good movie, then, hey guys, let's watch two flaming turds.
Which is kind of weird how the first Matrix movie seems really good and really holds up, but then it's like the other two just are fucking awful.
Yeah.
Do you know why the first one is so good and really holds up?
Well,
because they weren't sure they were going to get other movies. So
Yeah.
it is a self-contained story.
That's true. And plus, all the effects and everything were all like, at least all the bullet time moments were all like cameras shooting one
Practical.
frame.
Yeah, more practical stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Plus, you have a character named the Merovingian. The Merovingian. What a man! Then there's those weird ghost twins.
Yeah.
Wasn't there something to do with werewolves too? Like they were
Yes.
trying to explain.
Yes.
Well, I think that was more of. I think that was in the game, in the video game, where there were vampires and werewolves and shit like that.
But those are all just glitches in the Matrix. Those are programs that went rogue. And,
Yeah.
See, they tried to. God damn it! The Wachowski siblings tried to put too much.
I
Man,
don't know what
I
it
don't
is.
have any trust in them at all.
Yeah, I think after the Matrix movies, they kind of went.
Yeah.
They kind of went weird. I mean, and
Well,
a
they
lot of their
did-
movies after that just didn't do so well.
No.
They did V for Vendetta,
Right.
which
Well,
is
they
a,
produced that. They didn't direct it.
but that's still a good movie.
It is a
if-
good movie.
if you haven't read the books. If
Yeah.
you've read the book,
Ah.
it's like no.
It doesn't hold up to the book. I mean, it's still a solid movie though.
They did Speed Racer, which I think
Speed
gave me
Racer.
diabetes by watching it.
Speed Racer. They did. The latest one was Jupiter Ascending, and it is like one of the worst movies I've ever
Oh,
fucking seen in my
God.
life.
Didn't they do
It's
Cloud
so
Atlas?
They did do
Yes.
Cloud Atlas.
Yes.
Cloud Atlas is pretty polarizing.
Which looked cool, but then like I remember seeing the trailer for Cloud Atlas. I was like, wow, this looks fucking cool. And then when it came out, I heard all of the reviews, and I was like, oh, okay.
you should give it a try. I mean,
Okay.
it's not my favorite. It's set aside about 4 hours and watch this movie.
Oh God,
Yeah, it's like 3.5.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Watch it.
I think Cloud Atlas is a pretty solid film, but
It's
it
definitely
has
a
its
think
moments.
piece.
Yeah, it has its moments where you're like, this is really good, and it has its moments where it's like, yeah, nah.
You can talk to like 6 people and each get a different perspective
Yeah.
on what the hell
yeah.
happens.
But
It's-
maybe just read the book.
yeah. The book is called Cloud Atlas, not The Cloud Atlas. Those
Mhm.
are 2 separate books.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
I've heard countless interviews of the author of The Cloud Atlas, and he's like, yeah, my book is selling like gangbusters. And he made a movie about that other book.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, movies are kind of weird. It's kind of tough to get me jazzed up about a movie anymore.
Well, I know that Steve was talking about a movie that doesn't require a lot of thought, and I know I mentioned it before, but it's just a good fucking movie just to be entertained by. Hardcore Henry. That'd probably be my choice in the last couple months that I've watched.
Yeah,
Great movie just to go in, just fucking shut your brain off and enjoy what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I want to see that. I do want to see that movie.
Because it does do something different and unique and actually interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's just pure fun. Pure fun, action, over the top nonsense. So good. I know I've said it before, but I'm just going again. Only because Steve said there are some movies that are really great to just go in and just not expect a whole lot and just get entertained. And that's exactly what I went into the Hardcore Henry for.
So since you weren't here last week, I'll bring it up again. I just saw the Flash Gordon movie for the first time last weekend.
Okay.
You want to talk about a movie going with zero expectations? You fucking watch Flash Gordon. Queen did the entire soundtrack. It is a beautiful fucking mess of a movie. Max von Sydow is in it, and he plays Merciless Ming, Emperor of the Known Universe. Oh god, it's so good. It's so good. Oh man. Flash Gordon's the quarterback of the New York Jets.
Oh, God.
He ends up in space.
Jesus Christ.
It's so good. There's a race of bird people
Uh,
and tree people. The guy who plays the leader of the tree people is Sissy Spencer from Hot Fuzz.
Oh, God.
Yes, if that hasn't sold you enough,
God.
there's a flute player in the tree people who is a riffraff from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's a movie I'd have to be, like, drunk, and it'd be 1 a.m., and we'd be like, all right, let's put this fucking movie on.
No, you watch that on a Tuesday afternoon, stone sober, and you love every minute of it.
Okay.
It's Flash. It's so good.
Okay.
I really like that movie. I really like it.
It is the most B roll of B movie. It's
Oh,
so
fuck
B.
yeah.
It's a D movie.
It is. Oh my god, it is so B, and I love it for that though.
Oh yeah, no.
Because I don't like I don't know if it's taking itself seriously or not. Like I really that every time I've watched it 3 times and I've always thought like, are they fucking dead serious about this movie? Like I just can't tell, and that's I think it adds to like the whole like ambiance of the film.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting there trying to think like there's no fucking way they were serious about this.
Yeah.
But then there's moments where you're like, I think they were serious. I think they fucking were serious about this movie.
The guy playing Flash seems to be playing it so straight and so they very well could be.
I think they were.
Although I was
just
thinking
turned out
about
fucking
it.
shittily.
I was thinking about it while watching it. I would love to see a remake with Ashton Kutcher as Flash and Mia Kunis as Deborah, and recast Max von Sydow as Merciless Ming. It would be beautiful.
God.
Yeah, totally do it. Bring in the guy who played Robert Baratheon from Game of Thrones. Bring him in as the leader of the Bird People. Like, just exact. There are weapons in this movie, Wally, that fire laser swords. They are laser beams that are shaped like swords. They don't even reference it. No one notices that they're laser swords. You have to be looking real close at it and go, "Are those fucking swords? Those are swords." And no one comments on it.
Wow.
He just said like, "Fire the laser swords." They're just like defending themselves with lasers shaped like swords.
It just sounds like Flash Gordon is just like one of those movies where it's like, all right, fuck it, let's just go so goddamn over the top. Whatever, man.
Yep.
We'll fucking go with it.
Yep. Oh,
Don't even think twice about it.
Like the early 80s?
70s. Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah,
I think it was 1980.
Yeah.
Because it's based off of a 1950s comic book series that was then a late 50s television program. Or 60s.
Okay.
Man, Flash Gordon. That's a thing. I would play a Flash Gordon game. As long as I can fail upward. Oh, so good.
Anyway.
So that's our movie hour.
Far off topic.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's what we've been up to, but whatever.
Well, yeah.
There's really not okay, so there's a little bit of news. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's talk about the news.
Yeah.
NVIDIA has announced the GTX 1080. Everyone had been waiting for the next generation of hardware from NVIDIA.
I am now pissed.
A 1080 will set you back $600.
Yeah, expected.
1070 is $380. They're expecting the performance of a 1080, and this is, again, based off of their comments. Is that it will perform like SLI'd 980s?
Okay.
According to their chart, which is relative performance.
Oh, God.
Which the horizontal axis is marked 1x and 2x.
Right.
Compared to the 980, it will double perform the 980 in virtual reality.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like they're hyping this up as their VR card. That's all. That's all.
Yeah.
It is. Let's see. They do have stats here.
I wouldn't be surprised if the next couple of cards for the next couple of years will be like VR ready. Like that's gonna be the thing.
Well, the 980 is VR ready, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the new Pascal GPU architecture. This had been rumored for a while that they were going to revamp how their hardware operates. Switch it over to the Pascal. This is finally the Pascal. It's an 8 gig GDDR5X. For comparison, the GTX 980 is only a 4 gig GDDR card. This is new 5X. I don't know what that means. It's a 10 gigabyte per second speed, clock speed. And it has a boost clock.
My God.
1.4x. It's actually it just reads at 1733 megahertz, which is compared to the 980, which is 1216 megahertz. It's a beefy card.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember looking at the stats and comparisons, and I was like, damn. But you don't see me running out and buying one anytime
No,
soon.
no, don't do that. Don't.
The only thing that I might do within the next, probably by like next year, would be getting another 980 and then
Yeah,
SLI them, and then I'll be set for another 4 or 5 years.
yeah. Oh, well, Steve, what are you running with now for a graphics card?
Oh, I'm not fucking sure right now.
Well, I would keep an eye out for what does a 980 sell for right now? Let
I
us
don't know.
find out.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably significantly cheaper now.
Yeah, I mean, now's the time to grab a 980 if you don't have one.
And I can attest, 980s are pretty fucking good.
Maybe not right now.
That's why I said within the
Uh,
next year. So like wasn't
yeah,
like gonna.
980 Ti's are still selling for 620.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Jesus.
regular 980 you're getting at like 490,
Oh, okay.
500.
That's roughly about what I paid for mine.
Yeah, mine too. But once this 1080 comes out, these will drop by a couple hundred,
Totally.
and at that point would be the time to buy a 980.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people are just happy about that. Hooray. Let's see here. EA announced a new partnership with their Star Wars franchises.
Ah, yes.
Respawn Entertainment,
Mm.
creators of Titanfall, are working on a third-person Star Wars experience. More interesting to me was when they were listing off the other companies that they're working with. They join our other great studios: Visceral Games, DICE, Capital Games, BioWare, Motive, and more, who are currently working on Star Wars projects. So DICE is, we know, Battlefront.
Right.
BioWare, we're assuming, is the Old Republic.
Mhm.
I have speculation that it's
I-
KOTOR 3.
We can hope that it's KOTOR 3.
Right.
And Visceral Games. Visceral Games is working on a Star Wars game, which, if you remember the history, Amy Hennig, who was the lead designer on the Assassin's Creed games for Assassin's Creed 1 through 3, including Brotherhood and Revelations in 3, she left Ubisoft to join EA to work on a Star Wars game.
Hmm.
So we might be getting an Assassin's Star Wars? I want a good bounty hunter game.
Hey, maybe it might be that actually.
Yeah,
That would be
fair.
fucking awesome, actually.
that would be pretty fucking sweet.
Like a fucking good bounty hunter that involves stealth and isn't set in the Star Wars universe. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Man, if I could fucking tool around the galaxy as IG-88, I would be so happy. He's not so much about stealth, just rolling up on bitches and
Right.
lasering the shit out of them. But if you get to play as Boba Fett, I wonder if your default is disintegrations. Oh, I would be happy. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes of that.
Yeah.
What Respawn will do with a third-person action game.
And
So-
I know I mentioned this when I was talking to you about it, Darren. It's kind of interesting that shortly after Titanfall 2 was announced, then they also said, "Yeah, we're working on a Star Wars game." It's like, God, oh no! Like they're starting to stretch themselves thin. Which game is gonna suck more?
I don't think they're stretching themselves thin. I think they started work on Titanfall 2 shortly after Titanfall 1 kind of started biting the bullet, started to go down. My guess is they immediately started working on 2 under EA's guidance to make it multi-platform.
Right.
I believe we'll see a Titanfall 2 release this year. And we might see a teaser. We might hear hints of whatever this Star Wars project is. I don't think this is well along the way. Whereas I think Titanfall 2 is ready to come out.
Right.
Again, that's speculation. I'm talking out my ass. I should hope that that's how this is working.
Hopefully EA won't be EA and be like, get them both done. God damn it.
Yeah.
Microtransactions.
Do you want disintegrations? That's 50 cents per.
Yeah, right.
Fuck you. Valve is changing their Steam review system. They're now going to increase visibility for recently posted reviews and recent review scores. So, in case something like, if you remember back when Mass Effect 3 came out, when that first came out, the Metacritic score got hammered, and I think it's still pretty low because people were so upset at the ending. They weren't reviewing it as a game as a whole.
Right.
They were just responding to it, and so fans were rating it very low. And you see that again with games on Steam. So Valve is now trying to compartmentalize that. Or even if a game has a rocky start, but then they patch it along and they fix it. Like Battlefield 4, for instance. Let's say that was on Steam, which it isn't, but now it is up and running, and it's, by all intents and purposes, a good game. This would let you see the more recent reviews and kind of filter out that older garbage. Whereas if it remains a garbage game, those reviews would remain coming in as this is a garbage game.
Yeah.
I'm all for this, especially given how games are changing anymore.
Yeah, because even Arkham Knight right now, like, has, I think, like, either mixed or mostly negative, like, for when it first came out. But now, like, the more current reviews are saying, like, it's pretty positive. Like, and that's just because of all the patches and everything that they've released. I mean, granted, they've fucking stopped releasing patches, but still, it's got more of a positive score recently than what it had when it first came out.
Recently, it is very positive with 867 reviews, overall mixed.
Yeah, there it is.
And it is for sale for $30 now.
There
Which is
you go.
crazy. $50 gets you all of the DLC. Included with the base game. But yeah, I like that. But it shows you overall, too, so it's not like it's throwing out all of the old reviews.
Yeah.
To see, okay, more recently, okay, this shows, according to them, over the last 30 days, it's been very positive.
Okay.
So let's say, hypothetically, we grab something older, like a Dead Space 2. So, currently $20 on Steam. Recent, very positive. Last 30 days. So it looks like it's pulling reviews only over the last 30 days. And this only has 5,000 reviews overall.
Okay.
Dead Space 2. That seems low, but...
I think a lot of people were playing on consoles than PC. I feel like
certainly.
around that time.
Certainly.
I know I was playing the first Dead Space on console, and then Dead Space 2 I played on PC for the first time.
Right. That was a transitional time.
Yep.
All for it. Let's have more of a dynamic review system for a more dynamic medium. And then the last news item, Nintendo has announced their E3 plans. Did you like the Treehouse streams last year where they were streaming like Smash Brothers and stuff? What if that's all they did? And what if they only played Zelda
Okay.
for all of E3 and there was no Direct?
Yeah.
And that's what Nintendo's doing.
Yeah. It's just more of a hands-on approach kind of thing.
Right.
Kind of. I mean, it's more of like they're showing actual gameplay instead of just showing like a trailer or whatever.
But they're not doing a Direct for anything. It is only going to be a live stream of the Treehouse playing Zelda for all of E3. No Direct. No announcements. Just gameplay of Zelda.
That's mixed feelings about that.
Yeah.
Because it's just Zelda and that's all they're gonna fucking focus on. It's kind of like, all right, Nintendo, we know you're stroking that fucking Legend of Zelda dick, but what about other stuff? We know you got more games besides this.
Yes, certainly. So my thoughts on this they've got to have something else. They've got to have a big direct later in the year. Since we know the NX is coming in March, we know Zelda is launching in March. About October time, we're probably going to see a big bombastic, like, this is our next console.
Yeah.
You got to get that hype train rolling late fall, early winter to hit that March release.
Okay.
But at the same time, this makes me kind of, you know, I think it's a very transitional period right now for Nintendo.
Yes.
Like, without a doubt, there's
Yes, it is.
the only big releases coming out this year on any of their systems are all on handheld. So they're really leaning hard into the 3DS, which they should. The 3DS is a great system.
Yeah.
There's also rumors floating around that the NX is going to be cartridge-based again. Which, okay, technically the 3DS is cartridge-based.
Yes.
So if it's something like that, but with larger storage capacity, pardon me.
Yeah.
They
Aren't they saying that just because the same company that made the cartridges for 3DS are now making the games for, or like making their technology for the NX?
I didn't read too far into it. It seemed like that was a rumor that I went, that's silly and weird, and just filed it back in the back of my head.
Yeah, I saw. Well, I read there was a little article on it, and it said the company that Nintendo hired to make the technology for the games is the company that invented the technology of the cartridge for the 3DS. So that's why the speculation of being a cartridge like the 3DS, I guess.
Well, yeah, I get.
But
that.
it's all speculation. I mean, I think it's pretty silly if they do. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think what they need to do with whatever the NX is I would love to see them marry their handheld and their console gaming together, but I don't see that working out well.
Yeah.
The type of game that you sit down to play on your console on your big television isn't necessarily the same kind of game that you want to play portably, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit down to play Picross on my giant television.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take Zombie U on the road with me. I'm not going to take A Wonderful 101 on the road with me. I'm not going to try to play a Splatoon on the bus.
Bayonetta. And Bayonetta 2. No.
What I think the NX needs to be is backward compatible, first and foremost, because there's lots of great games on the Wii U that people will have missed out on. And that is potential software sales with no work done other than making it backward compatible. Plus, you want to keep that Splatoon player base up and high. Unless you want to phase them out for Splatoon 2, which could happen. But I think you make it backward compatible, and that's about it. That's the only requirement I need. I would love to see them marry the handheld and the console together if they can do that right. I would love to play Fire Emblem on both. You know, I would love to play Mario Golf on both. The Wii U didn't get a good Mario Golf. The 3DS got a real good Mario Golf. I would love to play all the levels of Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But I don't know. No one knows what the hell this thing is, and we're not going to know until end of summer, beginning of fall.
It's very interesting. I'm very interested in what they're going to do because I don't know. I don't know if they are just going to do regular and say, all right, we're going to make a console like PlayStation.
Yeah.
And just do that. Or if they're going to say, fuck it, this is our last hurrah doing something. We're going to go balls to the wall, fucking go nutty,
Go
and see
bonkers.
if people buy this shit. And
Guys,
if not,
guess what?
bye-bye.
Actually, I know what the NX is now. It's a Virtual Boy 2. It's
Yeah.
it's the Virtual Boy 2.
Going balls to the wall doing Virtual Boy 2.
And then it'll crash and burn, and then Nintendo's like, well, fuck, we didn't learn anything from that. Shit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, which one of you guys wants to give us some money so that we can put games on your system? because them going third party would be a huge boon to whatever company picks them up. But I feel like if Nintendo ever went third party, which is certainly a possibility, if they did, it would be you wouldn't see games out of them ever because you know how long it takes them to release for a system that they already fucking created.
Yeah.
Man, what a weird fucking thing Nintendo has become.
Yeah.
Very weird thing.
Yes.
But again, you're not going to play Zelda anywhere else, and for me, that's enough. That HD remake of Wind Waker is fucking superb. And
Yeah.
Splatoon is great. Did either of you end up picking up Splatoon?
I have it.
Yeah, we played
Oh.
Splatoon.
Yeah.
It's real good.
It's fun, but there was something about it that just didn't make me keep coming back to play it. I don't know what it was. And now that Overwatch is coming out, I'm sure shit not going to be touching Splatoon.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Splatoon was damn fucking good.
Considering that Uncharted 4 comes out tomorrow, and then there's Doom when I get back from my trip, and then all these other things that are going on. So, yeah.
I still have to play Uncharted 3.
Should. Should. Do it.
But Dark Souls.
Both. Yeah.
No?
You probably could because I mean you don't have to invest. I mean you don't have to invest as much in Uncharted 3.
Sure.
Because what I did while I was playing the Nathan Drake collection, I was also playing Bloodborne. So I would play Bloodborne, and then rage quit and be like, "Fuck this," and then go play Nathan Drake. And it's like, okay, I can play this because it's comfortable and it's a little more lighthearted, and I can actually kill things. Like, that's how I did it, and it fucking worked out perfectly. I was able to finish both games.
Well, apparently the thing with 4 is that it's a different writer. It's like a different... It's someone who did Last of Us.
Yeah.
And so they're saying that it's tonally a bit darker now.
I believe it because of the events of 3. Because of the events of 3, it basically should go in that direction, honestly.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, gotta play those. That's it for news.
By you.
That's it. There's nothing else happened.
Battlefield 1.
Oh god, that's right.
Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1 was announced with a trailer.
So I will actually give them props. I think it's a much better trailer than Infinite Warfare, simply because that version of Seven Nation Army is leagues better than that horrible cover of Space Oddity.
Yeah.
I'm rating the music, not the games.
Okay.
That's a real good like dubstep version of Seven Nation Army. It's real good.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, but I would say that Battlefield 1, which, by the way, is a fucking weird-ass name. What the shit?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why they're going with Battlefield 1, because it's like, oh, it's World War 1. Okay, cool. Because the very first Battlefield was called Battlefield 1942. 42. Yeah. And that was the first Battlefield. So it's like, okay, cool. But, like, the fact that they were like, Battlefield 1, it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Who's naming this shit? Yeah. Like,
I saw the trailer, like, on Reddit, and I was like, wait, why are people going apeshit for a Battlefield, the first Battlefield trailer?
Like, exactly.
Why are people watching this? I don't and then I watched it, I was like, oh, it's a new game.
Yeah.
That's why.
Hold on, wait, whoa, okay, hold on. What the hell is this?
What?
Oh, wait. Never mind. I'm sorry. I just did a search for Battlefield to try to get a list of the different titles, and one of them popped up Battlefield 5.
Well, that's technically Battlefield 5, but they're calling it Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1.
Yeah. Or the official name is Battlefield 1. But I will give DICE props that they are basically going back to old wars.
1918.
They're going to the older First World War, and because a lot of people fucking wanted that, because Battlefield and Call of Duty both were games that started out with like playing World War II.
But this is World War One. This is even older. I can't name you a single game that took place World War One.
I know, and I think that's why a lot of people are fucking excited about it, because it's World War One.
But you know what? There were planes in that, and that is not historically accurate.
No.
Do you know how many planes the U.S. had in its possession at the end of World War One? Guess. Any number.
2?
You, Steve? Well, you're right. It's two. The U.S. had two.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess they just had it because it's kind of like most of the Battlefield games had planes or jets or something. So I guess they just wanted to include it in some way, even if it was very late at the end of World War One. So it's
Yeah, but if you get more than two, it's historically inaccurate.
right. So, but I will say that just seeing the trailer alone, I can appreciate that what DICE is doing and that they're going for World War One and that they're the first between the Battlefield versus Call of Duty whole thing going on. Battlefield is the first game that's like, yes, we've heard you guys talking about wanting to do World War Two, World War One, Vietnam, whatever. We're gonna fucking do it. Because meanwhile, COD is like, yeah, we're going to space, motherfuckers, and
Well, that's fine. Differentiate each
Right.
other. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Plus, Visceral Games is doing this one.
what?
Yeah, they're doing Battlefield 1.
Interesting.
Well, they did Battlefield Hardline,
Oh yeah, that's right. Which was not received very well.
but the fervor that we're getting around Battlefield 1, this could say Visceral.
That's true. That is true. So does that
Yeah.
mean? So does that mean Visceral is like directly involved and Dice is just kind of helping them out?
They are the designer. Developers are listed as EA, DICE, Visceral, Criterion, NeoWiz, and Trauma Studios. So there's like 6 studios working on this.
Jesus.
Wow. Man, they really
But-
want it to be a big fucking game then, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, DICE and Visceral seem to be taking the lead on this.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how that all cuts out. You know, how do you get 6? How do you get 6 companies to work together? Why is Criterion doing this?
I know, right? It's like
This doesn't have fucking car crashes.
They're gonna develop and design the horses. They're gonna do it.
If the horse
Effects. Horse
If they-
effects.
if
They're
they
gonna
can-
do it. Criterion's gonna do horse effects.
can they crash and can I hit a couple buttons and make them blow up?
Maybe.
Can I blow up the horses?
I guess.
God, that would be awful.
Well, actually, someone pointed out in the comment section, they were like, hey guys, remember how you can strap C4 to tanks and not run them into other tanks? We've got horses now. And everyone's like, Jesus!
Yeah. That's
Oh no.
Just strap all those German stick grenades to them.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's awful.
Yeah, it's totally awful, but it's like, oh god, if it could do that. Oh shit.
Yeah, no. It'll
So yeah, it's something that I was like, oh cool, I can appreciate this and what they're gonna go for here, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, oh god, Call of Duty is over, whatever, like kind of thing, or like I'm gonna get Battlefield Day One. Like I'm just basically gonna be like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit back and watch and see how this all pans out.
Yeah. Well, at this point, we're about a month away from E3, so it makes sense that all of these are getting announced.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are completely out of left field. Like, all of a sudden, oh, hey, we're announcing Battlefield 1. With E3 around the corner, that means that they're not banking on those being the big crowd drawers
Yeah,
at E3.
right.
So, what the hell are you going to show at E3 that's going to make people go, holy shit, that isn't a World War One? For me, a good E3 presentation leaves me confused, shocked, and a little aroused.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. Yep.
Like when they announced Shenmue last year, I was like, what the shit? And then Psychonauts 2, I was super aroused.
Mm-hmm.
So, what the hell are they going to do?
Yeah. Well, we'll
Whatever.
find out. 1 month.
Well, it's EA, so they're not even doing E3.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
I guess that's it for news. Did I miss anything else?
No, that's about
No?
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Not many stories, but a lot we can really chew on.
Yep.
Emails, utterlygeek@gmail.com. That's UTTER. Well, let me take that from the top.
Rewind.
UTTERLYG33k@gmail.com.
There
Send
you
your
go.
messages there. We are awaiting more
Mm-hmm.
because we got none.
Oh,
Oh. Well, do you guys have any questions?
no. I got none.
I'm trying to figure out the perfect grits recipe. I think I'm pretty close. So if you want,
Thank you. Thank you for
So-
that input.
so if anybody wants to have a breakdown of what goes into a good recipe for grits, shrimp and grits,
Mm.
write in. That's utterlygeek@gmail.com. UTTERLYG33k at gmail.com. In your subject line, why don't you put in
True grits.
either
True
True
grits.
Grits.
True grits.
Yeah.
Put in the tagline. True
You-
grits.
you can tweet at us at utterlygeek. That's UTTERLYG33k. Hashtag those.
Hashtag True grits.
No.
Hashtag True grits.
Matt Damon.
That's the name of this episode. It should be hashtag True grits.
Grits.
Dude, I've been on a mad grits kick. You have no idea. Man, I hadn't had them until I went on a vacation recently, and holy shit, I love me some grits.
Grits.
There you go.
Grits and eggs, grits and shrimp, just straight up grits. The problem is that you have to eat the grits fresh, because if you heat them up later, they're not the right consistency. They're more of a they're more like a silly putty later on when they should
Yeah.
be like a cereal.
Mhm.
But man, I got some good grits.
Anyway.
We can add a cooking segment if people
Oh,
want other
God.
recipes.
Oh,
Write
God.
them in.
All
Come
right.
on.
Anyway.
I'll give you my secret donkey sauce. I don't have a donkey sauce.
God.
Donkey sauce.
I don't want to know what that includes.
You'd have to ask Guy Fieri.
Oh, Jesus.
On that note,
Yeah.
donkey sauce.
Donkey sauce,
Donkey
everyone.
sauce.
Donkey sauce and True grits.
Donkey sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Grits.
Wouldn't donkey sauce be technically a mammal sauce?
Mammal sauce.
My mammal sauce is the best kind of sauce.
Hey, anyone who doesn't get that, Google mammal sauce.
Oh, God.
Yes.
I haven't heard that shit in so long.
Mammal sauce.
Fucking love mammal sauce.
Oh, God. All right.
They fiending for that mammal sauce.
Ugh. Anyway.
Go eat your mammal sauce. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.